I liked the opportunity to try out skills that I'll need in the future.
Like what?
Planning and organising, and having the confidence to ring up a company and say I need this from you, and having to act more professional rather than just being a student and dossing around.
And there was like a lot of collaboration with like external people. Like I worked with a PR company in Sheffield as part of Storying Sheffield, which is a contact I wouldn't necessarily have made otherwise. And I know you work with artists from Sheffield to put together the posters, so there was a lot of like collaboration which sort of like helped us develop our skills, and also like you say, like confidence, just to be able to go up to these people in the field and be like, learn from them. It's really important.
And did you feel then that you were able to discover things about yourself then by doing that? I mean, by testing new skills, or by kind of deploying your intellect in different contexts? Was that something new for you? Did you learn something about yourself?
Yeah, because before Storying Sheffield, I always thought I'd do some sort of journalism, like because I love writing about things, and that was always a field I wanted to go into. But then when I did the PR side of Storying Sheffield, I realised that that's something that I was actually good at, like which I might not have been able to figure out otherwise. So actually doing that and taking on that role and being pushed to like promote it, especially because it's the first year it ran, like I'd get in contact with people and they'd just be like, they weren't interested because they didn't know what the course was. But as soon as like I explained it and I had to like email time and time again and phone up, like it showed me like how persistent I could be, and if I like believed in like this project, then I could like push that onto people and be like, listen, it's good.
Yeah, I think I learned like how much I like variety, like general in my life and in a course, because I think with English as well, it's quite set. You just do your reading, but with like Storying Sheffield, there was like so much interaction, and then there was chance to do like writing and drawing and all different things, and I think I just learned how much I actually like that variety.
Mine's kind of similar to what I said before. I think some of the skills that I knew I already had, like time management and things like that I knew I was good at anyway. This course has helped me to sort of realise that it is an actual valuable skill to have that, and it's not just an added extra, if you know what I mean. And I learnt that I actually like leadership roles. I've already had to do it in an interview.
Yeah, me too.
For Aim Higher. I wrote down that I'd taken a leadership role on in the Storying Sheffield module, and they asked me what I'd done, and the fact that I'd rang companies to get materials and ordered things and got things printed and I just listed things that I'd done, and they found that really impressive, that I wasn't frightened of ringing up a company that I didn't know. I think, and I got the job, so
yeah.
it can't have been.
I had the same thing with my interview for HR Media. They were asking me what I did in Storying Sheffield and like things I'd done, and I had it like physical examples of like the paper that I'd managed to get an article printed in, and I had like the Twitter feed that I'd been running, and I could like show them it, and also like I could just think off my head like everything that I'd done, because like it sounds weird, but like I didn't have to like blag it. Like sometimes in an interview you feel like you have to kind of blag it and be like, oh, I've done
what
this.
you have done.
Yeah, but this was like legitimately I've done this. So that was good. I didn't have amazing experience in what I wanted to do, and so having this role of like being given the role of PR sort of pushed me to get my experience from that. Like even though this enabled me to do it, it was still very much I had to like put myself out there and do like be very proactive about it. And then like because of that, we had links with HR Media for that, and that I then got work experience with HR Media as a result of my work on Storying Sheffield. So that's already like updated my CV, and now I feel like a lot more confident in my CV, like when applying for other stuff. Like I've just applied for a placement in London, and I feel like I actually have a lot to say and a lot to like talk about what I've done now, whereas before I was just sort of like, oh, I've done like some writing for the paper and this, that and the other, whereas now I'm like, we did this module, we put together this exhibition, I did this, so that's helped a lot, definitely.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I've put it on my PGC application that I can lead and manage, and when I go into work, I don't feel so shy around people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Just and if say when I've been into school to work experience, since Story in Sheffield, I can go in the staff room and shake everyone's hand and be like, you know, I'm not just a student, I'm a valuable person, I've got something to say here.
Yeah.
And I feel more confident in putting my point across, I think.
Yeah, I think that as well, because like especially at the beginning of the course, we were in a seminar room with 15 people from Sheffield that we'd never met. We had 3 hours where we had to interact with them, and we were pushed to like come out of our shell and talk about stuff and like really put ourselves out there, so it wasn't
And
just
help
us
them to do that as well.
and it wasn't just us sat there like, so like you had to talk. And I think that's helped a lot, like meeting new people, like you say, you just go out to them and you're just more confident in it.
Dawn, what do you think? Skills and things.
Yeah, it definitely improves like just general life skills, like confidence, like is a big one. Just the ability, I do feel now I could just talk to anyone really, like regardless of who they are, sort of thing. You can just go up and chat to them. So I just think that's like a really important skill to have generally, and especially like when you're thinking about a career, you need to be able to like put yourself out there and like be able to like show the skills you've got, but you need to be able to like talk to people first, like you need to get to know people as well.
Yeah.
I think it's given me more faith in the fact that I've got an arts degree, and that's not going to let me down because I've not done engineering or whatever. Because if my PGC does fall through, I feel like my degree's got more weight because I've done something practical rather than just written essays for 3 years. I think other employers in different areas will value that.
Yeah, it shows that there are opportunities.
Yeah,
out
it's given
there.
me a bit of hope in case my plan does fall through, that I have got a skill set to show people.
I agree. Like before we did the module, it was just sort of like we were just sort of sailing through doing our degree, whereas this has sort of like made us sit up and realise that we need to like get some practical experience. And it's like not just us, like Matt is like got so into his film now because of it, and he's like going for this internship with a film company, and it's like I think it's opened everyone's eyes to what they want to do, and that was because of like how open it was, like about what you could do, so you could each channel into what you like, and then that sort of channeled further into showing you what skills you have.
Yeah.
Lots of things that students go on to after studying humanities subjects involve a great deal of public exposition and having the confidence to put yourself out there. And the thing I feel with academic research, and the thing I feel with Story in Sheffield, is it encourages that mentality of broadcasting what you're doing openly and encouraging collaboration with others and work towards an exposition of work, as opposed to undergraduate academics which encourage you to write a single paper for a single tutor, which you then give to them in what's quite an introverted manner, and you're not broadcasting, and you're not expected to stand by your arguments. It's very easy to write them down, and you know that only a select handful of people have read them and can comment on them, and you're given a grade. And I think that there's lots of information that lots of students are used to hiding behind the grade, and they're not used to maybe fleshing out their arguments. I think because of the degree of investment that occurred, yourself and Brendan gave so much time, and the other people working in the project, there was so much time spent working within these professional capacities and actually going out and doing things, that I now have a really good, clear idea of what I want to achieve. So rather than, I mean, before doing the course, I knew I was interested in journalism, and I knew that I wanted to do something along that vein, and kind of imparting knowledge to other people, and sort of, I like the idea of spreading knowledge and ideas, but not directing them in an academic sense to other academics, but to bring them out into the wider world. And so Story in Sheffield let me do that for once, and I realised actually by physically doing that on a very small scale that this was definitely something that I wanted to do. So in November I have an interview with a film production company, and they're the largest independent film production company in the UK, and that's not an interview that I've secured directly from my work with Storing Sheffield, but it has been something that I've hunted down as a result of finding an interest inside of my work with Storing Sheffield. But undoubtedly, the majority of things that I intend to raise at this interview will be taken from my experiences of Storing Sheffield. And the majority of, if I was asked a question at interview, the majority of responses that I would have for that question would be taken not from my academic work at the university within conventional spheres, but inside of the Storing Sheffield project. Because I think actually having that social strand and physically, I don't want to make it sound funny, but physically doing things and actually getting out there and doing things has helped me realise what I want to do and realise what my strengths are in a more visceral way than I would have guessed based on marks and feedback I received from a tutor about essays.